Hi guys, welcome to my Flosstube number 15. It is the 4th of February today, so into February we roll. Happy February. And yes, my name's Emily. I'm Craftie Emily here, and welcome to a few new subscribers. Thank you very much for finding me, however it is you found me, and you're very welcome here. Yeah, it's still surprising that I'm still getting a few extra subscribers here and there. It's really nice. So I tried a stitch with me last week, which I recorded on the Friday because I had an unexpected day off. I've got the same day off tomorrow because it's Thursday today, so this is my furlough day. So I should be at work, but I'm furloughed still in lockdown here. Situation normal. This week I have been into work Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'm so sorry, Robin is dancing in the garden. He is a prat, absolute prat. If you're new here, Robin is my very Scottish other half who clutters up my house and makes things out of wood for us, us. Anyway, yeah, so I did a stitch with me on the Friday. I might try and do one again tomorrow. Don't know what I'm going to stitch on. I think I might do a little bit of full coverage tomorrow. And that went down really well. Thanks so much for being nice about me having a go at that. You know, you sit down to do it, and this is different because I have a whole pile of things, and hopefully I'm not going to have to reach over there as soon as I start. I have a whole pile of things surrounding me that I need to show you. So it's easy to talk about things because when you've done talking about one thing, you can move on to the next thing, and it's easy enough. And you sit there with a stitch with me and you're thinking, crikey, what am I going to talk about? And then I looked up at the camera and I've been blabbering away for like 50 minutes. So yeah, that was good. I enjoyed it actually. So something different tomorrow. So what have I done this week? This week I have just been stitching on all sorts of things. I've got a cool spattering of stuff to show you. First thing, I did show it in my stitch with me, but some people don't watch those, I know. The better to see you with. Last week I was having a nervous breakdown because I had drawn all over the fabric with a fine liner pen that was actually called Intense, and I had a bit of a panic that it was never going to come out, and it was sitting in the washing machine as I was recording. Here is my fabric. If you wash Ada in the washing machine at 60 degrees, it comes out soft and fluffy and snow white, no marks. My pre-gridded Ada is no more. I'm happy to sacrifice the pre-gridded lines to get rid of the lines that I was afraid were not going to come out. So here is the piece where I am. Trying to get it in the light so you can actually see. There, maybe. There is a couple of thousand stitches in this. This is the very top corner. And what I did is just I filled all this in. So there was a much darker blue. This is the very top left-hand corner. So I put in just a few here, and I filled in most of all of this is filled in. Wow. When you see that it is my biggest piece by far. This is a 500,000 stitcher. This is going to be my full coverage fanatics have. I think it's not this weekend but next weekend, having a weekend where you stitch on your largest piece. This is going to get a full weekend's attention, this and nothing else, and I'm going to hopefully get a couple more stops around Iceland on it. So all saved, absolutely fine. Side note, it's now a 22 count Ada. So instead of being 20 count pre-gridded Ada, it's now 22 count ungridded Ada. But I did order a water erasable pen, a new one. Got this from Amazon, and it's got liquid ink in it, which is rather nice because I do like a pen that you can see what you're doing with. And although it looks, where can I put it? In front of my white Ada. Though it looks like it's got quite a big nib, actually it draws quite fine. I've just drawn on my hand with it. It draws a quite fine line, so I quite like that one. That's called Core Bond. Core Bond. It was in the sewing stuff. You know, I just searched water erasable pen, and it had lots of good reviews, and That's what I went for. Some of the ones, I nearly went for a big pack with like 12 different colours in it. I need one pen. I didn't need 12 pens, and 2, they were air erasable, so over the space of 2 weeks they gradually fade, which when I'm going to be probably conservatively 15 years on this, I need the pen. I need the marks to be there until I need them. So I haven't redrawn any marks yet. I might not draw out the 10 by 10. I might just put on, because I'm not planning on extreme cross-countrying this. I'm planning on not neatly stitching, you know, diagonals or anything, or parking, because my brain can't do parking at all. The thought of taking the needle off a thread that I can see I've got stitches to do on, no, I'm just going to stitch them. So it's going to work like this. I know this is the silliest, palest. I'll show you on a different one. Okay, so I have had a new start. Now he is full coverage, but he is tiny, absolutely tinky tiny. Where is he? Here he is. I got this from mybobbin.com when I ordered the snow globe, the black snow globe that I still haven't started because I started this instead. I had a piece of the 16 count pre-gridded Ada. This is left over from when I trimmed down my Ariel, my Mandy Manzano Ariel that I haven't worked on in forever, and she is looking at me, and Eric was sharpening his claws on it this morning. He is asleep in his little cosy spot there, so I don't know if he's going to get up. Yeah, I swooshed him with a Q-snap. I had the Q-snap in my hand and he was going on Ariel. So I squished him, I scooped him with my Q-snap out the road, and was not very pleased with him for a few minutes there. If you're new and you haven't seen very many of my other videos, Eric is my almost 1-year-old ginger tomcat kitten who is a naughty piece of work. He's gorgeous, but he's naughty. I have got a little video of him retrieving without too much of the crap being observing in my room, which I'm just a bit ashamed of, to be honest. I'm just a bit ashamed of how much crap there is in my room. He is a retriever cat, most marvellous. He comes now. We know what he's doing now. If you want to summon him, you don't know where he is. You just get a crisp, like an empty wrapper, a biscuit wrapper, or a crisp packet, and just go with it, and he appears. And if he comes into my room and he wants to play, he purrs. He comes up and he just stands and looks at you and purrs super loudly, and then you find her. We've got them everywhere now. Crisp packets with a knot tied in them. Palm of your hand, flick, and he brings it back. It's so cool. Anyway, I've got a little video. I'll put it on at the end. So I started this pit. Back to cross stitch. I jump about a lot. Back to my cross stitch. It's called Happy Mr. Oliver, and I will put in, I'm just trying to see which way up it is. I'll put in a picture of it right here. Now I've picked this for a specific reason. I'm doing this for Maddie to take to university for her, and he isn't going to be called Happy Mr. Oliver. I've called him Gerard, because he is going to be her toilet guardian. It's an in-house joke. My children don't like to go to the toilet at school. They don't like to go to the toilet at grandma's. They only like to go to the toilet at home. And we've had this conversation with Maddie about, well, you know, you're going to university. You're not going to be able to go. You're not going to be able to hold it that long enough. She used to withhold when she was little. Which, if you've had a small child that won't go to the toilet, you'll know exactly the struggle we went through with her. I went through with her. Yeah, she got over that, but she still doesn't like going anywhere really, but at home. And they'll hold it all day, and then they're like banging on the door. We've only got one loo in our house. We've only got one loo. We've got 6 people and one loo. Just the house isn't set up for multiple toilets at all, unfortunately. So it's a funny, peculiar story. Anyway, we've had this sort of long-standing joke about it. You know, when you go to university, you're in big trouble, kind of thing. So I'm making her a toilet guard, which she can put upon her, because she'll have a room with an ensuite. She'll have her own little shower room, sink and toilet attached to her university halls rooms, because they're all en suites now. I think some of the very, very old ones are rooms. Like when I went to college, there was 8 rooms, and then like a toilet room with a row of toilets and a row of showers and things. But I don't know if she goes into very, very old, because of course the university she's hopefully going to be going to is extremely old, so she might be in very old accommodation, but I believe most of the moderner accommodations are en suites, which would be really nice for her. And if she has an ensuite, then she can have her own little, she can put this on the back of her toilet door. So I started this, and this is on 16 count. It's I think it comes out at about 100 by 110. So this is, I'm 20% done. Now there's half stitches and things like that in it. I'm not doing the half stitches, I'm just putting them in as full cross. I put it into Pattern Keeper. There's lots of blends. I worked out how to put blends into Pattern Keeper, and that was enough for me. I wasn't going to start putting in half stitches and things like that. So I'm just doing it all in straight cross stitch, and that's where I've got to. So there's some of the, I think I've got one, just that one colour in the frame, and then I've done all of the next green, this darker green, I've done all of that, and then a little bit here of this lighter green. And then at the bottom here where it should say Happy Mr. Oliver, I'm going to call him Gerarda Yalu, I think, or something. So he's guarding Yalu. He's going to be her toilet guard. Anyway, he struck me as just what I was after for a pattern, for somebody to keep an eye on her toilet for her. That was a very long explanation. Luckily she doesn't watch these. So I'm going to put in a little bit of work in his here and there and get him done nice and quickly. So I'm quite pleased with that. So that was my start. That's the new pen, because although this is pre-gridded fabric, the grid lines I find are a little blurry, and they're right through the stitch, so I never know whether to go that side of the line or into the line. So I've just drawn on top. The turquoise is me drawing on top so that I actually know where I am. And you can see there, so you can see it's quite a nice fine line. That pen with the liquid ink in it draws. I'm quite impressed with it, because I thought it was going to be really like a really fat line it drew, which would have been no good either. So there's Gerard. I shall get on with Gerard. And so that was my new start for this week. I think that was my only new start for this week. I feel like I'm missing something. I am missing something. There's a surprise. Luckily, my long dog bag, I think I've got 3. Isn't this a lovely piece of batik? Pinched that from my mum. That was the second bag I ever made, I think. That's got 3 long dogs in it. Anyway, so I'll go back to where I was, because I was on Long Dog Leap Day when I did my Stitch With Me. So I carried on for a little while longer, and I did find, so I was working just here. This is the bit I was doing in my Stitch With Me, and then I filled in this bit here. I found the bunny and the butterfly, so I've just filled in that bit. I was hoping to get a little bit more done. I was hoping to get down to about there, but I have filled in this bit, so I've done quite a bit more. So the good news with that as well is that I have found the missing page pattern that I had mislaid, because it's a paper pattern and I had mislaid a page of the pattern, the page with the fox. So I was missing this piece here, AWOL. I had everything out. Oh, I took a little video of that, covered my bed. Absolutely, I've got so many whips. I covered my bed in in all my whips and sorted everything. So if I had the pattern and the threads, I've put them together. I've got a pile of ones that I'm using that are paper patterns. I've got a pile of ones that are Pattern Keeper patterns. And then some of the bits and pieces, I am making myself some new project bags. I've left the fabric downstairs. Oh, when I stop to put pictures in, I might run downstairs and get the fabric I bought for myself. But I've got a packet of fabric come. I might bring it up and show you, because I've been very industrious this morning. It's 3:10 already. Crikey, it's 3:10. I've machined, you know, my project bags. Oh crikey, I've got so much to show you. My project bags have a denim, like a denim patchwork on the inside here to give it a bit more structure because it's denim. And I've been been piecing all the denim together today and stitching it all together into the two sizes I do, with the insides of the bag is either 13 by 15 or 12 by 14. Yes, that's the two sizes. So this is the much bigger size, and my smaller bag is bigger than this one. This is too small. This was one of my first. This one I now make bigger bags than that. So my normal size bag fits between these two. As I said, that one's very full. But this one here, the big one, will take. See, my threads are in a chocolate tin, but it was such a cool tin, I had to keep it. It had chocolate sardines in it. Very nice. Anyway, I've gone off piece. Yes, I've spent this morning sewing together bits of denim and basically patchwork piecing them together, and then stitching them together and ironing them flat, and then I go back in and stitch like top stitching, bright orange top stitching, so it looks like it was meant to be like that in the first place. So that's what I've been doing this morning, and I've got some new fabrics, and I'm going to make myself a couple of bags because my Q snaps are just roaming around, and Eric tends to sharpen his claws on them like he did this morning. So Pilgrim done. I was still feeling a little bit long doggy. I'm trying desperately not to buy the two new ones that I want. I have stuff in my Mrs. Sadis basket, but I'm so far resisted purchasing a full hank. I've resisted so far, but I have bought other things. So I picked up my Anzac. I am now just over 50% done with Anzac. There is my Anzac. This is on a 36 count lilac sky. It is about that colour in real life. I put photos up on Instagram and they never look the same. Mostly because when I finish for the evening, when I want to take a picture, it's dark and I'm using my artificial light and it doesn't come out true colour at all, and I won't put a filter on. I feel that's cheating, putting a filter on to make your colours look better, because then it looks, you can see that it's been tampered with. So what I did was I did come down here, I did the flamingo with the crown. Crown was first, then the flamingo, the little dog, and then what can only be, he's not a dragon, he's a horse, isn't he? He doesn't look like a dragon. Oh, I've got a vomity horse. And that's the start of a sailing ship. That's the very top of the mast and the very top sail of a sailing ship here. So I've got a vomity horse, and so he's either a dragon breathing fire, but he looks so much like a horse that I called him a vomity horse. So I did the fire or vomit, and I know horses can't be sick. Horses can't be sick, so maybe he's a very colicky horse. So he's there, and I used the blue. I'm only going to use the blue in a couple of places outside the bubble, but that looked like it needed to be blue. And then I did the little bit down here of Australia. So I've rounded the corner at the bottom of Australia. I'm about to come to an enormous great merino sheep, which is going to use up almost all of my blue. So I've done the bunny with the gun, and I think it's Ned Kelly, I'm not 100% sure, with the gun. And there is a typo here. I'm one stitch out, but it's okay. Considering I am a lot more, this crocodile is, yes, an awful lot out. So as I'm doing what I'm doing, I'm working my way round back up to that crocodile. But Australia is perfect. He's meeting up beautifully. It's just the bubble and the bits that are touching him are still a stitch here and there out. I don't mind. I've done so much frogging already on that piece that I don't mind. And just to finish off the night, I put a few, and it's only a few, stitches here into Dilemma. I just did this little section here. Again, this one's off a page. This is in pattern, Anzac's in Pattern Keeper. Dilemma is paper, and this here is actually is the piece of border. This is the 4th square, which doesn't exist on the pattern. So I am using this corner. I took that corner and flipped it round, and I'm stitching it up there. So that bit and the side bit is actually this bottom corner here. And then as I work the extra piece of pattern on, I'll sort it out. But I just want to get to the corner. You can see it's definitely going to fit. And then I'm going to go down and just double check that it fits down there. As long as it doesn't fall off the end of my fabric, it fits. You've all seen my sansui, you've all seen how close I got. 1 stitch. I had 1 hole and then the selvage, and that was me. Because I used what I had. And it does. It's all a matter of confidence. A lady had started her pandemic and she'd found a piece of fabric, and when you do pandemic you need an enormous piece of fabric. She found a piece of fabric in her stash and she was like, I've started, I love it. And I thought, brilliant, gosh, it's a lovely colour, it's really lovely green. I was like, brilliant colour. And I looked in and all the comments were, that fabric doesn't fit. Oh, that would give me palpitations. Oh, you'll have to start again. And I was like, no, she doesn't. It's all what you're comfortable with. If you're comfortable with an inch border and you're going to frame it yourself or you're going to turn it into a wall hanging, it doesn't matter. It's personal preference. But I didn't like that people were telling her that she had to start it again when she was like, oh, I can start it. I found a piece of fabric that fits in my stash. I don't have to buy a piece of fabric for it. I had one of those ranty moments. So I took a photo of the bottom border of my sansui and went, you want to see a really close one? This is a really close one. And I'm good with it. I don't often do that. I don't often feel necessary to go in and post in on somebody else's post. Usually I can scroll on by. But she had so many comments of people going, you'll have to restart that. I'm like, why? Why does she? She's perfectly happy. I mean, she defended herself. She defended herself. But from that happiness of starting something and wanting to share it, she must have felt really bad that people had told her it was wrong. And I thought, no, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. If you're happy with it, it's not wrong. I got on my... I don't like that. I don't often do it, but I thought that was almost... Oh, there's my red pen. I thought that was almost bullying. Not quite bullying, but people telling her she had to restart it. I didn't like that. It won't fit. Well, it's going to fit. She says it's going to fit. She's measured it. She's checked. She's started. We all have different limits to what we can cope with. I use a 2-inch border. I know some people use a 3-inch border. We all use different, and it's all fine. There's no rules. Same as... I put my pen in my pencil case. Same as I don't like people telling people that the back of their work's messy. Who cares? You know, there's no rules. The back of your work doesn't know. You can't. It's mean to tell a beginner that the back of their work's messy because that might put them off the hobby. And that's not what we're here for. We're here to make it to help everybody just love this hobby so much, and to enable you to buy and acquire more and more projects. If that's how you manage to do things, if you like more than one project at a time, which I clearly do because I have so many bloody projects on the go. I'm going to get back to cross stitching now. I went a bit ranty there. I am very sorry if you don't do ranties. I don't do it very often, but every now and again that actually annoyed me a little bit. Anyway, I then thought, oh, I haven't worked because I want to do High and Dry, one of the new long dogs, which I think looks very like Castles in the Air. Except it's got a ship on it too, which for me is perfect. Given the choice between the two, I'd have probably done High and Dry first, but I'm already doing... This never shows up. This fabric never shows true. Wherever I hold it, it doesn't show true. Here is my rather paltry 7% of Castles in the Air. It's in Pattern Keeper, that's how I know. Which I am doing on a 40 count linen in Lagoon. So it is green. That's as close as I think it's going to get. When I bring it up, it goes blue. It's not blue, it's green. In Quicksilver. dinky dye Quicksilver, 1 strand. Look at that, it just looks like lace. I love it. I love these ones that just look like lace, and the crosses are so tiny because they're 40 count crosses. So no, they're 20 count. I'm doing it over 2, I'm not doing it over 1. So it's 40 count, 1 strand over 2 fabric threads. So I thought I'd have a quick go at that and put in a bit more. I was aiming for another 2%, but honestly, I frogged and I frogged and I frogged. I did this bit here, and there's an owl, and there's another owl on the other side, and you can see the fabric here looks a bit ratty-tatty. I frogged and I frogged and I frogged it again, and I put it away. Put it away for another day. I was tired. It's tiny, and I was tired. And it wasn't that I was putting my crosses in the wrong place, I was counting off Pattern Keeper wrong, and that's when I know I'm tired and I need to go to bed. If I'm counting, it was my counting from Pattern Keeper, not me putting in the cross. I wasn't stitching it wrong, I was counting it wrong. Oh, tired, needed to sleep. So that was the end of that for the night. Other than that, I have done 4 pieces. I picked back up. I haven't done any more on my temperature bookshelf yet. I'll have a really big catch up on that really soon. But I thought it was about time I put a little bit more love into my last year's, so my 2020 temperature tree. This is the very well-known, well-loved temperature tree from Sarah the Stitching Mommy, who, if you don't watch, go and watch her because she's lovely. And I picked up, and I was somewhere here, and I'm halfway through October now, so I'm nearly there. And that was maybe, I was stitching on it for maybe 2 hours, maybe 2.5 hours, just doing the little leaves, and it's actually going to be beautiful. I was afraid it was just going to be green, green, green and more green, but as you can see, it started off green because my lower temperatures were were blues, went up into the greens, and then the warmer it got, the orangier it got. I've only actually got I think 4 or 5 orange leaves, and then we went back through the yellows into the yellow greens, and now I'm going back into the greens again. So it is going to show that it was cold, it got warm, and then it got cold again. But I'm doing a different sort of colour scheme for my 2021, so I'm going to aim to get my last 2.5 branches done on that. I did have another mistake of counting here. The tip of this branch is far too close to the tip of this branch, but there was only, what, 1, 2, 3 leaves that were affected, so I just moved them down a bit and changed their shape so they didn't actually touch a different leaf. 3 leaves was about a dozen stitches that were really badly out of place. I'm really pleased. I'm going to get that finished. I am going to stitch a little bit along here, saying there is a huge coffee stain on this here, where it's soaked and bubbled across the fabric. I will try and wash this out when it's finished. It's all DMC apart from the trunk, which is Classic Colourworks. No, it's a Gentle Art. It's a Gentle Art. So I'm hoping I can get this out without having a disaster with the tree trunk. Are they colour fast? Somebody help me out. Tell me. Does it actually say on a Gentle Art? Let me grab one out of here. Colour fast. They're colour fast. That's Island Blue. So I am going to wash it and hopefully get that coffee mark out, because I didn't mean to coffee dye it, but it is splooched all the way across the bottom of the tree. You can see it. But I'm going to put Brampton 2020, and then I'm going to put a little key where I stitch probably a block of 6 and put the temperature and the block of 6 and the temperature, a block of 6 and the temperature, so that we can see loosely what the temperatures were, just for the colours we actually used. I actually used, right, that put it back in that bag. My project bag, a la IKEA bag, has been Eric'd. Eric's been chewing at that. It's got cat bites in it, quite a lot of cat bites in it, so they're lovely project bags until the cat starts chewing them. Clive's never eaten plastic. He's never been a plastic chewer. He was already a grown up. My big boy Clive was handed into a rescue with his brother, and they hadn't had a lot of play or attention. They were ferocious hunters, but I could never engage them in proper play. Eric, because he's a house cat and we've had him since he was 7 weeks old, I think. I think he was a little bit too small to come to us when he came to us. He was literally, look up, kitten pick, this size. He plays. Robin's just gone, up the shed. Let's hope his fingers are still joined to his hand. As I said last time, the shed's about 20 metres away. I've got a double glazed window, which is closed. If I can hear him shouting, and the door to the shed is also closed. If I can hear him shouting, he's probably hurt himself. I'm sure he'll be alright. Set him right for dancing in the garden. Right, then I picked up my mermaid, my letter E mermaid. Let me find. Right, my Nora Corbett E mermaid. She's there. So I'm changing up the colours on her to stuff that I had. So what have I done? Let's make sure I've got it the right way up. Didn't do any more of the mermaid. Oh, he's not come out yet. I can see the shed door out the window. So I did quite a bit more of the E, and this is the very that there is the top corner. So this is the top of the E here, and I did more in the main body of the E. So that's where I've got to on that. I'm quite pleased there. It's quite nice to stitch on this. This is a 35 count linen, which I sploshed dye on. And yeah, all of this bit here, that's all filled in, that bit there. So I'm liking my colours. I like the way the colours work together. The paler aquas stand out better in real life than they do on the camera. They're not quite so close to the fabric as they look. So that was that one. And then I have a finish. I have a stitching finish. I've still got all the back stitch to go, which is the annoying bit because I haven't done the back stitch, but I'd forgotten that it was done. There is my ship in trees. Isn't it lovely? I suddenly thought I can get this done. It took me longer. It always takes longer, doesn't it? But this technically is my first full coverage finish. There's a ton of backstitch, an absolute ton of backstitch to do on it. Oh, I like it. I do like that very much. This is on 25 count Laguna that I bought from Hobbycraft. They do sell Zweigart. This is pre-packed Hobbycraft brand, I suppose, but it is Zweigart. No, it's not Hobbycraft brand. It's in a Zweigart packet. But instead of doing it 1/1, this is 2/2. So this is a 12.5 count full coverage piece. So if you'd have done it the right size, it would have only been a quarter of the size. It would have been really tiny, very cute, really tiny, but I like it that size. And I did actually buy a frame on Saturday. I just had to go and delete a few of my last videos which were clogging up my system there. I was full up. Here is the little frame I bought for this. Whoa, you can see my ring light there. In the range, it was £6.99. It's only wood effect, I think. It's probably like compressed, I should think, but I rather liked it. And now my Facebook is chiming, and it fits quite nicely in a really sort of odd. So I'm going to get that what I'm going to do, so it's going to fit really nicely with about, once I've folded it over and strung it up, it's going to have a border, I think, of about 1 centimetre inside the frame. So I'm not going to put any kind of mat or anything. I'm just going to lace it up, lace it, not string it. Dear oh dear, use my words, use your words dear. On there. What I'm going to do before I do that, I'm going to wash this first and then I'm going to put the back stitch on. Only I'm really conscious of how much my other one shrank. So I'm going to wash it first and then put the back stitch on top, because there's a lot of little branches and a lot of little bits of tree that comes up here, and all the rigging, and I think the stars have little starbursts around them. So I'm going to wash this. I'm going to leave it out of the bag. I'm going to wash it and then I'm going to get it mounted up. By the by, 25 count. That's what I cut off the side. That was from the pre-cut piece. So I've got a nice piece of 25 count white Laguna. That might get dyed. And 2 more things to show you. I did a little bit more in my Halloween at Hawk Run Hollow. On my first block here, I've done quite a lot of that. Finished off all the gravestones. I've filled in all the yellow. There's a snake going in there. Haven't done him yet. I filled in all this yellow, which is curry, and started going around put some black back on and started going on around the windows in the black. So that's block number 1 of my Hawk Run Hollow, my Halloween. And then I thought, my oldest whip, my first whip, I thought, I'm going to motoring on with Halloween. What about the shores? What about the shores of Hawk Run Hollow? It's been a bit neglected. This was my only project until I found Heaven and Earth Designs and everything else. So I started off the shores of Hawk Run Hollow in what I'm calling a max colour. Full on max colour. Now, how I am working this, I mean, it's almost laughable how completely bonkers different it is. I bought my pattern from Arts and Designs. Ooh. And the piece of linen, which I think might be, which is the one that's slightly more rigid. Is it Cashel? It's definitely 32 count. I didn't know what I was buying, basically. So that's what it's meant to look like. It's just amazing. I want to really want to get to this ship, but I am doing 1, 2, 3, 4, and then I'll come to here, do some of that, and then come on to this one. I'm trying to do this one in a bit more of an order, but yeah, full colour max version. There it is so far. So day before yesterday I already had the first and second blocks done, and I was on the, that's showing, sorry, that's my eBay. I did buy a couple of bits on eBay. So here's where I'm working. That's as bright as it is. So I'd already done the Mermaid. This is full coverage. The whole house and right along to here is full coverage completely. So I'd already done the Mermaid, and I'd done a little bit of the grass. The grass is in 2 different colours because I picked up an odd piece and started on the grass, and when I went back to just pick it up the other day, day before yesterday, gone. So I found the nearest colour I had to that and carried on. And you can, if you look closely, you can see there is a slight difference, and it's just there where that bit's one colour and this bit's another, but up on the wall just looks nice. So I've done my birds, pheasants possibly, I don't know, and the tree, the very nice ruby red And then the door of the house was a silvery bit. The windows are a variegated grey. The house itself is an anchor variation colour that I had knocking around. 1302. That's what the house is in. You can see it's got various beiges. It's actually got a pale yellow in it somewhere. And here's my colours. So for each block I'm just grabbing whatever I've got. Now in here I found a picture, a photograph. I'll show you that in a second. So what I'm doing, when I sorted out the floss bag of doom, I sorted into usable amounts and random strands. Sorted out random strands. It's not quite a floss bath. They are sorted out, not into any kind of colour, but they're easy to pull from. So I am literally going, okay, there's apples or something on that tree. I need a red, I need a green to go behind them, and I'm just literally finding the colour, pulling the strand, because you only need one strand for each colour really, unless it's a big piece like the house, which I know is going to take a lot more. So I found a full skein for that, or I found a skein of something for that. So I want to get this block finished. I've got the rest of this house to fill in, the roof, the 2 chimney pots, and then I haven't put the water in the bird baths yet. I think the birds need eyes. They don't have eyes at all, but I think they need eyes, so I'll just give them a little black eye. And then there is a lacy, where does it show well? There is a lacy background pattern that goes into the corners, and I need to just join up my border there as well. So that's what I've been doing yesterday and today. I just suddenly thought, oh, I don't want to get too far behind on this, so that I motor on with Halloween and then have to go back and go, oh, but I felt bad because I forgot about that one. So that's what I'm doing with it, and I'm just literally pulling from my box, which has got the floss bag of doom contents that I sorted out in that video. I'm not even really touching the DMCs unless I need a big variation or something. There's all sorts of things in there. There's things I pinched from my mum. There's that, her tail is silk, the anchor is in etoile. It's just whatever I fancy, full colour, full on, very, very bright. But I love it. And I think it's going to go very nicely next to my Halloween. And they're both 32 count. I know this is 32 count. I didn't know whether my shawls was 28 or 32. The boxes are exactly the same size, so that is really good news, because they're going to look really nice framed up next to each other, you know, in 5 years when I finish them. Now the picture that's in here is the deck of a ship in the Pacific. Look at that sea, look at the colour of that sea, what a beautiful day. This ship I'm assuming it's been scrapped because it's the same age as me. So I'm assuming she's gone up the beach, in Bangladesh probably. She was called the SS Bubuk, an LNG natural gas carrier, which we carried natural gas between Brunei, where we loaded it, and we took it up to Japan and discharged it. 3 weeks round trip, there and back, there and back, and there and back. They were on a 30-year charter, and the Sultan of Brunei owned the ships, and Shell managed and ran them and put us on them as officers to look after them. But that's me standing on the bridge on watch in the Pacific. How amazing is that? I took that into work. I ruffled it out and took it into work because one of the ladies I worked with, who thankfully took her redundancy, is one of those people who always found a problem with everything, was going, oh, I couldn't go on a boat. I went on a ferry once and I was sick. Oh, I couldn't bear it. Couldn't do it. So I brought a picture in because they didn't know about me. They just assumed that I'm like them. I have finished school, had babies and lived in the same village all my life, and I haven't. you know, none of them even thought to ever ask me. I mean, I don't talk like them, I'm not local, but none of them had even thought to ask if I'd ever done anything else with my life, because they haven't, so they assumed that I hadn't either. So I took that in and I showed her it, and she was just totally nonplussed. Totally nonplussed. Whereas I think that's freaking amazing. Look at that beautiful day. I miss days like that. That's a big ship. She was 280, 290 metres long. They're bigger than they look. Anyway, I found that in that bag because that used to be my lunchtime project. I did all the fishies, the fishy block. I did that at lunchtimes. So that's all my stitching for today. That's all the stitching I've done this week. I've touched an awful lot of projects, and I really like this sort of week where I touch all sorts of projects. I really like it. So, right. Yes, giveaway. Oh, I've got my, there's my hank of silk. Mrs. Sada Starling. So, I had lots of comments. Oh, you've probably seen it. I apologise for my awful what's under and around my fingernail. Printing ink yesterday. I've been printing all week. So, all week. I'm only in for 4 hours. I've done 12 hours of printing. So, I'm very lucky to only have that much. That was as I was cleaning up. We have a spoon in the tin of ink, in the tin of black ink that we use. And as I was cleaning the spoon, I put my finger down the back of the spoon, and I knew, I was like, oh no, I need to do a Flosstube tomorrow, and I knew it wasn't going to come out properly. I've done my best. So, I had lots of comments for my Valentine's needle minder. And it's going to Karen Greening. I'll put your name up here. I'm not entirely... I've had lots of giveaways go to Karen's. I'm not entirely sure if I've got your address or not. So Karen, please drop me an email. If it's not tagged onto this Flosstube, it's because I've forgotten it should be on any of the others. I have a funny feeling you're in my Facebook group and everything anyway. So ping me a somewhere I can post it to you, and I will send you the Valentine's. Oh dear, that's even worse. Can't line it up. The little Valentine's needle minder. That's yours. I also baked all my Fimo. This is the box that's got the dinky dies in it, and the eyeballs and the glass and the cabochons that I put on the back of my needle minders, and the eyeballs are those are all the circular eyeballs, the ones I don't use for my dragons. So I have a box full of Fimo-y stuff and 3 hanks of dinky dye, mother of pearl. Isn't it glorious? That's what I'm doing my Renato Parallel. I must get on with that. I'm going to have a go at that this week. So I already had a whole pile of translucenty dragony needle minders made. They're all in there, and these are all the little funny tag end pieces here. I'm not even showing you, I'm just looking at them here, which are all little flat pieces, but they're very heavily mosaicked up. So there's those needle minders, beads, and these are quite funny. I'll show you these. So I make, oh, I can actually reach them to show you. If you make a cane, oh, I can't get them out now. If you make a cane, these are my apple canes. So the green one worked out really well. A little bit. So you make a, you've got an apple colour in the middle, and then I set the pips on the inside, and that's the green apple. The red apple there, pips in the middle. So that runs all the way through. And then if you then, all you do with your Fimo, as you roll it and you stretch it, it's called reducing it, and that's cut from that, and it just gets smaller and smaller. So when you cut slices of it, you can make an apple tart. So you've got your big cane, you roll it, reduce it down into a small cane, and then you cut slices and you make an apple tart. Now some of these I set magnets in before and a needle minders, and they need a big magnet on the back because they're very thick, so they need a very big magnet on the back. So if you've bought one of these from me, you'll find they've got a big magnet so that they've got the strength in them. But these ones don't have magnets in them. These ones are going to be at the bottom of scissor fobs in the pie tin, which of course is a bottle cap, which are a craft supply. Who knew? Not me, till I found them. So as I was making apples, I thought, why not make some apple beads to hang at the bottom of scissor fobs, or maybe like a dingle dangle on a project bag or something. So I made a couple of apples. There's a green one. It's got a nice little back on it. Looks the right kind of shape. So I made some of those just for mucking around and fun. Just pop my Fimo back on the tray, and then I've got the beads that got, I wonder if Robin's alright, the beads that I baked, and I made a leaf cane, which is rather nice. And did I make some leaf beads? I'll have a look in a second. So those beads, they've got a hole at the top, so when I put a jump ring through them, they'll dangle off a scissor fob. Oh, I did make some leaf ones. There's one. And then there's a little round bead using slivers of the leaf cane on the bead. So I've got a whole pile of those. And I did some with an older cane that I made before with flowers on it, which is a rather nice cane, that one. And there is one that I trod on. I dropped it on the floor, and there was, because when I carried them downstairs to put them in the oven to bake them, here it is. I dropped one on the floor and of course immediately trod on it, as only I would. So my round bead turned into a flat bead. So there's one of those trodden on. Still a good bead, still very pretty. Still very pretty, but trodded on. And then something different and something new. I bought a pack of these a while ago. The needle threaders. The very, very fine ones that fit the... I can't get the needle out now. That fit the very small needles that I use. There, it fits through, and then you just lay your thread across there and just pull through and they thread. And then there's a big one if you've got a much bigger needle. Don't think that one will go through. Oh, it just works on my very small needle. But if you were using a bigger needle, say for an 18 count aid or something, you had a bigger needle, that end works for the big needle and that one works for the small needle. So they looked to me like they needed covering over. So I have, that's the bigger, that one there's that bigger flower cane that I've made beads with. You just reduce it down smaller. I can hear things moving in the shed. I can hear the machines on and off, so he's all right. He does shout loudly though. So there's one like that, and then I used, there's my leaf cane, and you can see I was just reducing it more and more to get the leaves, and I've been quite careful to keep it out of the way of the bit that you thread your needle with so that it's not going to get in the way. So there's those ones, and then there's just some of my mosaic canes there, And this is today's giveaway. It's only a little tiny, it's still just as handmade as anything else that I make. So it's a little needle threader giveaway, and I'll probably pop one of my little tiny needle minders with it. So if you'd like to be put in for a draw for this, doesn't matter where on the planet you are, just leave me a comment and I'll put you in the draw for this. I'm going to make a few more of these, and then these are going to be in my, they will be in my Etsy shop by and by. They're very, very skinny. They'll be an absolute gift to post, so they're not going to be expensive because I won't need to put anything on really for postage, because they're not, you know, it's not going to cost very much to post them. So if you want to be entered for this little boy, just a little neat needle threader. Just feels nice in your hand rather than just being the plain metal. I just like to, it's just me, it's just what I do. So there we go, that's today's giveaway. So just drop me a comment and I just count up the comments and do a random number and then count up again to the number is. So drop me a comment if you want to be entered into my little needle threader, and they will, as I say, they'll be in my Etsy shop soon, and then they won't be very much at all. There's the only other one I didn't show you there with the little spirally. So that's just what they call a skinner blend, where it's blended through a pasta machine. You put your femur in a pasta machine and you roll it and you fold it and you roll it and you fold it and it blends. Brilliant. I love doing it. So I've put that on there, and then there's two little swirly whirls, just a slice from the cane, just to give it a little bit of, and it's tactile, you know, it suddenly feels really nice in your hand. So that's the giveaway for today. And then I had some haul. I will run downstairs and grab the fabrics, but I bought two charts. Somebody put on the Full Coverage Fanatics Facebook page that Haid were having a sale. Now I already had a little bit of credit with Haid. Christmas present that was sitting there burning a hole in my pocket, and I've been looking at the Randall Spanglers. Now I do love his little dragons, I really love his little dragons, but because my kids aren't little, I didn't want to do one of those, because by the time I finish it my kids will be adults, and then I've got I suppose theoretically by the time I finish a piece, oh no, I've just justified to myself buying one. That was my justification for not buying one. There's a wonderful one of a train, and the one with the spines of the books with the dragon. I could have grandchildren by the time I finish one. Oh goodness no, I've just talked myself into something. Right, concentrate on what I've got at the moment. Don't need one of those just yet. That's how I discounted, because I was dead set on getting a Randall Spangler, and I discounted the dragony ones for that reason. And now logically by the time I finish one, having an adult child already, only just an adult child, but an adult child already, by the time I finish yeah, okay, so I've narrowed it down to one of the houses, because Kim, the Spartan Stitcher, is doing the trick or treat, and I'm going to copy you, Kim. She did, I've got a different pattern, but I'm doing what you did. She did extreme cross country for the biggest number, which was black. So she extreme cross countryed all the black, and it looks fantastic. So I thought, I want to do that. Mine's 939. I'm going to do, I think it's 939 is 55,000 stitches. The one I bought is, I can't remember. It's on my tablet. I will insert a picture, but I have to find out what it's called. It's Home. Pattern Keeper. Home is where the magic is. Oh, that's the one I picked. I nearly went for the Snow Castle, which is tall and not so skinny. It was 999 tall by this wide. I very, very nearly went for that, but I didn't. And and I went for a max colour because I have not got a max colour. Whoa, there. Home is where the magic is. It's the blues, it's the purples, it's got those little pops of colour. Absolutely thought that one was amazing. Most of them I think are amazing, but I had to narrow it down. So that's the one I went for. 939 is the colour that's got 55,000 stitches in it. So I thought, okay, that's the one I'm going to go for colour wise. So, and I bought another one I was not expecting to see or want, and it only has 11 colours, and it's called Fireside Dreams. And I went backwards and forwards looking at it, and in the end I just went, no, I want to stitch that. Here is Fireside Dreams. I couldn't get over it. I love it. There's little white fairies on it, and there's this guy here sitting cuddling his knees, and then there's a man. Now his head's on wrong, and I know his head's meant to be on wrong, but is he not looking out at a slightly unnatural angle? I love it. Absolutely love it. I can't wait to start this. And I'm going to do this. I think I'm going to do this one extreme cross country, full stop. Start with one colour, tick it off, move on to the next colour. It's only got 11 colours in it. I know I'm going to need an awful lot of each of the colours, but I'm going to do that one extreme cross country, I think, just from start to finish, because I don't have one that I'm doing that with. I've only had one so far that I finished off the last 7,000 black stitches, but I'd already done a whole pile of it anyway on my key. So to that end, I have ordered a piece of 20 count Ada from Wool Warehouse. I've ordered a metre and a half piece, full length metre and a half piece of 20 count Ada, which I will wash. When it gets here, I will wash it and then cut it into the two pieces. Both pieces will fit on the one piece because it's going to be yon wide in each one. The two pictures will fit on this one huge piece. So I'll split it, machine it, wash it, and then grid it. Because having the floppy piece of Ada, I didn't buy pre-gridded because I'm going to wash it anyway. So I'm going to wash it first, just to make it all floppy. And I really like that floppy, lovely Ada. So that's what I'm going to do, and I hopefully going to get going on both of those, and I'm going to start both extreme cross country. For the max colour, I'm just going to do the 939, all of the 939, because that is basically all the outside border and just bits in the actual house. So I'm going to do all the 939 on that one, and I'm going to do extreme cross country on Fireside Dreams. So that was my haul. I'm going to run downstairs now and get my fabrics, so I'll show you those in just a second. I'll be right back. Right, just run downstairs and got my bundle of fabrics. My 3 younger kids are playing Minecraft together. Does that count as home learning? No, but I saw the home learning my boy's going to do today. Anyway, so I ordered some samples of wool fabrics from Minerva, who are a big online fabric haberdashery people. Some suiting coating wools, because I owe Maddie a cape. Maddie wanted a cape. I offered to make her a tailored coat, and she thought about it and she came back with, could I have a cape? And I was meant to do it at Christmas, but the people we ordered the samples from, it wasn't what we wanted. It was like stretchy weird stuff, and it's taken me this long to get round to ordering more samples. Now the stuff that came today is perfect, so the next job is to get a pattern for a bolero, because she wants a cape but she wants sleeves, so that when she sticks her arms through the slits and the side, she's got sleeves to keep her warm. She wants to be this side of cosplay, so nothing too wizardy, just a really beautiful. I'll probably buy a simplicity pattern, you know, just a proper pattern for a proper tailored cape, and it will have a hood, but it won't be a wizardy hood, it'll just be a straight hood. But she wants sleeves, so I said, well, I can make you a bolero to go underneath, which will just join all the neckband onto the neckband of the bolero. So I've got a big bolt of fabric, so we can do a mock-up. So that's my next job, is to get a bolero pattern. So when I ordered from Minerva, I saw this batik and I thought of my fabric. So I'm going to make myself a big bag that will fit my 11 by 11 in, so that I'll have a nice permanent home for this, and I'll probably keep the shawls in it as well. I might make it a 2-pocketer, so that the shawls sits in one pocket and Halloween sits in the other. So that's this 1/2 metre. I'll be able to make more than one. So I've got 1/2 metre of this, which on a dress fabric is a nice large piece. So it's a very pretty batik, and I should be able to make, I'll probably be able to make 3 bags out of that. Oh, it's so nice. The other side's really pretty. The other side's different. So I've got that. And also from them, I got 1/2 metre of koi carp. Isn't that wonderful? Aren't they lovely? So I'll be making some bags with koi carps. Now, the fabric I ordered the other day, pale pink. Now this is jersey. Now that's obviously t-shirt material. But look at the print. I just loved it. I love this watermelon lolly here. That's fantastic. I love the print. So I've got enough of this. Because it's jersey, I'm thinking maybe it should be grime cards. I'm going to try and make project bags, but because it's stretchy, I'm going to be very, very careful how I machine it. I'll be machining it onto something that is totally non-stretch, i.e. a piece of denim. So it should be okay, but as long as I'm super, super careful, I don't see why you can't make a bag out of it. I just couldn't resist the print, and they didn't have the print in a cotton. They had this print in a cotton. They had that in cotton. Look, that's project bag size. Isn't that wonderful? It's quite a lot of project bag size there. The hummingbirds. That's the one that kept popping up on my Instagram, and I thought, right, they're a little family run company up in Dundee, getting up for very top of Scotland. And I thought, all right, I'm going to give them a go. I'm going to order from them. Let's have a go. And it's come very, very quickly. The fabric is very nice quality, especially that jersey is a really, really nice quality jersey. So if I get on well with it, it's really nice. I got another hummingbird. It looks like that. And these flowers, I just thought with a dark blue denim, they were wonderful. I got that. And then I got into the fun stuff. Has him coming down, he appears to have all his digits. And I've got little hog hedges, which is really cute. Can you hear that? The guinea pigs are screaming. That's because Robin's just walked past them. They're outside toys. I've got 2 big boy guinea pigs. They're like this size. And then I've got some cats. They're a slightly bigger print than I was expecting. I was expecting them to be a little bit smaller, but it's absolutely lovely. There's lots of different ones. So when I make bags from them, they'll all be very different. And then, because who can't resist a minty panda? There's a minty panda. Now Lizzie, my middle daughter, is a panda. She is a panda. She was pandery for years. Anything with a panda and I could buy her it. It was wonderful. I used to order her stationery from Japan and things like that. You know, absolutely wonderful pandery stationery and things like that. She's kind of outgrown it. Robin is coming up with something. Here he comes.
Dun, dun, dun. Right, can you figure out what size the holes you need for scissors?
I can. I can, and I shall let you know.
Right, and then we can...
Holes and slots, I think.
Aye.
Hi.
She's a numpty.
Oh,
You're as bad as each other.
No, keep
Oh,
on doing it now.
scissors. Oh, that's for me. This.
I need to get, there's the wee spindle for it as well. I'm going to get that cut off. So
This
it
wee spindle?
jams. Yes. Right, so that goes onto that.
That goes onto
Yeah.
that.
And then I'm going to
Through
copy the
there.
base off the other one. So
Yeah.
it's like a match.
Okie doke. That's just sitting up here now for a
Just
minute.
sit that there.
Okay, lovely. That's what he's been doing. For scissors, a spindle. He's going to make the base, so it's going to be a 3-piece. That's going to sit in there. I'll show you the last one of my fabrics. That's just him coming in, and Flora. This one is a bit more random, but I love that earth. I love the earth on it. So I thought, well, if I'm careful where I put it, I liked it. Caught my eye. So we've got some very classy, got some very nice batik. It really is that colour. It is beautiful. And some rather lovely koi carps. Right down to absolutely daft cats. Anyway, new bags. And I've been machining up the denim, because that's the bit that takes me the time really, is getting all the pieces of denim just right for the backs of the bags, for the insides of the bags. He's been busy, you can probably see. Actually, I'm quite glad he's come up, because even though I'm looking at them, I don't remember, I'm not seeing them. He's making bobbins. I gave him a proper old wooden, because he came down with that first. And I was like, it's not quite sort of bobbin I meant more of a cotton reel bobbin. He's still not made me what I wanted, but I get what I get. Pair of scissors.
do you have any cups
Yes.
for coffee?
Yes, I have a cup for coffee. I've got a cup for coffee downstairs, but here you go, missus.
Thank you.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, a small piece of little band of something, little bit of embroidery around a reel. He's going to make me assorted, whatever takes his fancy, apparently. I said, can you try and make them a little bit wider through so that they can be, got a hole drilled right the way through them, so that they'll take a pair of scissors or whatever. As he makes me these, I'm just going to put them in the Etsy shop. Obviously, they won't go through the slot at the post office, so they'll have to have some postage on them. But he's making me some of those. He's going to make more of these bobbins and put them in the shop. And he's making a scissor holder. He's also made this week, which he's calling his premium set. So there's 4 discs, which he's yet to mark and drill holes into. Obviously, I'll give him a little bit of assistance with that. And this one here, this is not finished. He keeps saying to me, remember, it's not finished, but this will unscrew there, which you then, oh, that one needs a little bit of tinkering. They need some tinkering with them. Which that then screws on there, or it will do. Here's me doing a wonderful advert of what it doesn't do. But that screw on there, and then that'll have the holes in. So there's that. That's his next. He's just tinkering around, having a bit of fun with it. But he's making a whole pile. I told you he loves making these. He loves turning. The little one, his big one. There's the one that's what he's just been doing. See, that's been turned. You can see where it's been nipped on the lathe there. So if that's being held like that on the lathe, and he's turned that and smoothed it. It comes up to the bedroom because this is one of the warm rooms. There's a very big radiator right there, which at the minute has no crap in front of it. It's got a desk on top of it, but it's got no crap under. It's got no crap under it at the minute, so it's nice and warm all the time. So they come up here and they sit up here, and if they're going to do any moving around, they do that up here. Hiya.
Oh!
Thank you.
Coffee.
Coffee.
Right.
Coffee.
I'll leave you to it.
Leave me to it. In a Christmas unicorn mug and a pile of custard creams. It's brought me a handful of biscuits, pile of custard creams. Drink and a snack. Nuts. I think that's everything I've got to show you. Glad I remembered to show you all those bits and pieces. I'd kind of forgotten. Showing you my new charts. I've got fabric coming. If my fabric now, Wool Warehouse is running about 8 to 10 days back on its orders. It's either going to because it's just I've ordered one spool of sulky as well, just cause. So I ordered like a Wedgwood blue sulky. So other than that, hopefully because it's not a massive order, they might just cut the piece of fabric dead quick and hoy in the sulky and shove it in the post. It might take them between 8 and 10 days. I'm in no rush. I've got plenty of other stitching to do. Plenty. And lots to be getting on with. I'll maybe do a stitch with you, stitch with me, stitch together. Let's stitch together tomorrow. And I'll see what I fancy doing. I think I'm going to do a little bit of Happy Mr. Oliver, which is that little full coverage. I think that's me for now. I'm going to get on and make some scissor fobs. I've momentarily lost. I've got a little hand drill that drills very small fine holes, which I prefer to drill. If it's like a bead, I prefer to drill the hole after, because if I work the hole in before the Fimo's been baked hard, I tend to distort them because I'll pinch it too hard and I'll distort it. So I tend to drill them once they're cooked. Other than that, I'd pull my finger out and make a whole pile of bags, which I say every time and I never do, so don't hold your breath. And that's me done. I'm going to the post office tomorrow, so I've got a couple of open orders at the minute. They will be posted tomorrow, including the one going out to Jennifer. She's got some thread drops going. They're done, they're ready. He's pulled his finger out and he's made them, so they'll be posted tomorrow to you, so they'll be on their way. And that's me. Going forwards into next week, I'm just going to stitch what I fancy, and I'm going to get this washed today, and hopefully I'm going to have a little go at doing the back stitch, see if I can actually get it, because I have the frame right there. I've got the piece right here. I've got all the threads I still need, and I kind of want the project bag back. But I won't take all the stuff out of the project bag until it is finished. Fully finished. I need this wall filled. I need something on this wall. So I need to start finishing. I have literally got about 8 or 9 things finished now. I need to just pull my finger out and get them fully finished. And on this bit of wall here, so that when I say hello, there's stuff. And you can see stuff. And then it'll be more interesting than my really goppy, filthy, that's some sort of smear that one of my children has left on the wall. It looks like it was a sticky hand. Ick. It really needs painting. It needs painting and it needs pretty things put behind me. Anyway, I'm rambling, which means it's time to go. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for putting up with me and my blather again. And I will see you all. Probably do my stitch with me tomorrow and upload it on Saturday like I did last time, because that worked out quite nicely for me. And yeah, because our internet's been really patchy this last week. I think they've been working on it because quite a few people have had poor internet. So yeah, we've had really patchy, poor internet this week, which isn't really good enough because I have super fast and I always get a bit miffed when my very expensive super fast broadband doesn't work. We are end of line of everything here. Anyway, I will see you soon. Hopefully I've not rambled on too much. Sorry I went a bit ranty, but sometimes I do get a little bit ranty sometimes. I'll see you soon, okay? Bye-bye for now. Bye-bye. So I sat down to sort out my whips because I've got very uncontrollably messy here. So I've sorted all my whips. I've got to put them away tidily, but I've got things I'm using paper patterns for, here and here. New normal should be on that pile. That pile's all in Pattern Keeper. It's a big pile of finished stuff there. There's some things for project bags there, and then I found the patterns for these guys that was missing. There's my Lakeside piece, my Prairie School of Christmas I never finished, and Night Walk Down. I found the Shores of Hawkrun Hollow, which has been missing in action, and there's the bits of my first buttons and beads. I was just kind of missing things, you know. Oh, it's my poor old fire sticks falling to bits. And then as I was sitting here, putting the pattern with the fabric, with the floss if I had them. Some of them have got the bag of fancy floss with them. And this happened. My beast of burden came and sat with me. He's being a little purry. Very ginger. Eric. Eric. What a funny cat. He might be stuck, Flora. Gotta get him out. Oh, it's all tipping, Flora. Come on. Put the lid on. Put the lid on tight. And now you're gonna have to tip like.
Yeah.
Oh, honey, it's going everywhere. You didn't need to move that bit. You're gonna have to put it all back in.
Yeah.
Oh. Right. You're going to have to go in, shut the door and sort it out and put as much... If the food's wet, leave it out. If it's dry, put it back in.
Okay.
Oh, what a pest that ferret is. You probably have to... What was that? Shelf. You probably have to take the wire off.
Yeah.
It's all going to fall out. Flora, just let it fall out, love, and then put it back in when it's... Oh! That's what happens when you do things too fast. Now put all the food, it's all tipped out.
Yeah.
There's like 40 times too much coming out into the thing as well. Yeah, put a lot of that back in there. There's everybody. Now you've got full complement of weirdos. Two-hand scoop. That's the way. You're epic, Eric. Absolutely epic. Voila, the retriever cat. Purring the whole time. The more you play, the louder he purrs. You're a good boy. You're a good boy. There we go. There's a hill over there, and it's really, really wide. Oh, yucky. This is the big steep hill I'm coming to now where, yeah, I need to concentrate.